Skol, Vikings Nation. Buckle up, because we've got some massive Minnesota Vikings news to dive into today that's got the whole fan base buzzing. Our star wide receiver Jordan Addison just got hit with a 3-game suspension to kick off the 2025 NFL season for violating the NFL's substances of abuse policy. Yeah, you heard that right. Our boy JA is sidelined for the first 3 weeks, and we need to unpack what this means for our Vikings. This bombshell dropped on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, straight from the NFL, and it's got us all wondering, how's this going to shake up our offense? Addison's been a key piece of our explosive passing game, racking up 133 catches, 1,786 yards, and 19 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. So what's the story behind this suspension? And how are we going to rally without him? Stick with me, Vikings fans, as we break down this news in 15 electrifying scenes and figure out what's next for our purple and gold. Let's kick it off with the big question. How do you feel about Addison's suspension? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this Skol chant going as we dive into the heart of this Minnesota Vikings news. The suspension news hit like a blitz from Micah Parsons. Vikings fans, the NFL announced that Jordan Addison will miss the first 3 games of the 2025 season. Week 1 at the Chicago Bears, Week 2 versus the Atlanta Falcons, and Week 3 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, without pay. This stems from a July 2024 incident where Addison was arrested for suspected DUI after being found asleep at the wheel of his white Rolls-Royce, blocking a lane near LAX. This isn't just a random penalty. The NFL's substances of abuse policy is clear. A first-time alcohol-related offense typically means a 3-game ban, and Addison's case fits the bill. He pleaded no contest to a lesser wet reckless charge in July 2025, which acknowledges alcohol involvement but avoids a full DUI conviction. That plea deal didn't save him from league discipline, though, and now our WR2 is out until Week 4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Dublin. So what's the vibe in Vikings Nation? Are you shocked by this? Or did you see it coming after last year's headlines? Hit the comments and let's talk about how this changes our game plan. Can we still dominate the NFC North without Addison early on? Let's rewind to July 2024 to get the full picture of this drama. Addison, our 2023 first-round pick out of USC, was charged with 2 misdemeanors: driving under the influence and driving with a blood alcohol content over California's 0.08% limit. The scene was wild. A West Los Angeles police officer found him passed out in his Rolls-Royce, blocking traffic on I-105. Talk about a rough night for our young star. Addison spoke out at the start of 2024 training camp, admitting he was in a dark place after the arrest. He owned up to it, saying, "Whatever's out there for me, whatever comes with it, I'll own up to everything. I feel like anything that comes my way is meant to happen or is deserved." That's some real talk, but it didn't stop the NFL from dropping the hammer. How do you think Addison's handling this mentally? Drop your take below. Do you respect him owning it, or does this raise red flags about his off-field decisions? Let's keep the Skol spirit alive as we dig deeper into this Minnesota Vikings news. This isn't Addison's first brush with trouble, Vikings fans, and that's got some of us raising eyebrows. Back in July 2023, just months after being drafted, he was cited for driving 140 miles per hour on a Minnesota freeway at 3 a.m. in a 55 miles per hour zone. He pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor speeding charge, paid a $686 fine, and got the reckless driving charge dropped. Now, stack that on top of the 2024 DUI incident, and you've got a pattern that's tough to ignore. The NFL's policy doesn't typically factor in prior non-alcohol offenses, so this 3-game ban aligns with a first-time alcohol violation. But as fans, we're left wondering if our 23-year-old playmaker needs to tighten up off the field to keep shining on it. What's your take, Vikings Nation? Is this just a young guy making mistakes? Or should we be worried about Addison's future? Hit the comments and let's debate it while we unpack how this suspension shakes up our roster. All right, let's talk about what this means for our offense. Addison's been a stud, hauling in 70 catches for 911 yards and 10 touchdowns as a rookie in 2023. then 63 catches for 875 yards and 9 scores in 15 games last season. He's our clear-cut number 2 receiver behind superstar Justin Jefferson, creating mismatches that make defenses sweat. Without him, we're missing a key weapon for 3 crucial games. The good news? Addison can still participate in training camp and preseason games, so he'll stay sharp. He's been lighting it up in camp, showing off that burst and body control that made him a first-round pick. But come week 1, he's barred from the team facility for 3 weeks, which could disrupt his rhythm with our new QB, J.J. McCarthy. How do you think this impacts McCarthy's first NFL start? Drop your predictions below. Can our rookie QB handle the pressure without Addison? Let's rally behind our Vikings and keep the faith. Let's zoom in on J.J. McCarthy, our 2024 first-round QB who's stepping into the spotlight in 2025 after missing his rookie year with an injury. The kid's got big shoes to fill, and now he's got to face the Bears, Falcons, and Bengals without his number 2 receiver. That's a tough welcome to the NFL, Vikings fans. McCarthy's been hyped as our franchise future, and the Vikings have built a solid offense around him with Jefferson, tight end T.J. Hockenson, and running back Aaron Jones. But losing Addison means we'll need to lean harder on our depth players early on. This is where Coach Kevin O'Connell's play-calling magic will be tested. What's your confidence level in McCarthy right now? Sound off in the comments. Do you think our rookie can keep the offense humming? Or are we in for a rocky start? Let's break it down as we dive deeper into this Minnesota Vikings news. So, who steps up with Addison on the sideline? Jalen Nailor's name is popping up big time. The 2022 6th-rounder had a breakout 2024, snagging 28 catches for 414 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's shown he can be a playmaker, especially when Addison missed time last year with an ankle injury. Then there's rookie 3rd-rounder Ty Felton and veterans like Lucky Jackson and Rondale Moore. These guys aren't Addison, but they've got potential to keep defenses honest. Plus, T.J. Hawkinson's expected to see a bigger role in the passing game, especially after proving he's a go-to guy when Jefferson was out in 2023. Who's your pick to shine in Addison's absence? Drop it in the comments, Nailor, Felton, or someone else. Let's get hyped for our depth players and keep the Skull vibe strong. The Vikings' run game could be our secret weapon during this suspension. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are ready to pound the rock, and Coach O'Connell's been vocal about wanting to lean into the ground attack in 2025. With a reshaped defensive line and fullback C.J. Ham in the mix, we might see some heavy personnel packages to control the clock. This strategy could take pressure off McCarthy and keep defenses guessing. Last season, Jones racked up 1,312 rushing yards, and Mason's a bruising complement. Without Addison stretching the field, a strong run game could open up play action for Jefferson and Hockenson. What do you think, Vikings Nation? Can our run game carry us through the first 3 weeks? Hit the comments with your take, and let's talk about how we keep the offense rolling. Let's talk about the schedule, because these 3 games aren't exactly cupcakes. Week 1 at Chicago is always a dogfight. Divisional games are brutal, and the Bears' defense could smell blood with Addison out. Then we've got the Falcons at home with their speedy secondary, and the Bengals who've got Joe Burrow slinging it. The silver lining? We get Addison back for Week 4 against Pittsburgh in Dublin, which could be a statement game. But these first 3 matchups will test our depth and McCarthy's poise. The Vikings went 11-2 in 2024 against all odds, so we know this team's got fight. Which game worries you the most without Addison? Drop your thoughts below, and let's predict how our Vikings stack up in these early battles. Skull. Addison's suspension puts extra pressure on Justin Jefferson, our all-pro superstar. JJ's already dealing with a hamstring tweak in camp, but he's expected to be ready for Week 1. Without Addison, defenses might double-team him even more, daring our other receivers to step up. Jefferson's a game-changer, 1,809 yards and 8 touchdowns last season despite missing time. He's been mentoring Addison, too, pushing him to be more vocal and lead. That chemistry will be missed early on, but JJ's the kind of player who can carry the load. How do you see Jefferson handling the extra attention? Sound off in the comments. Can JJ dominate despite the defensive focus? Let's keep the Minnesota Vikings news hype going. Let's not forget the bigger picture. This suspension doesn't define Addison's career. At 23, he's still a rising star with elite route running and hands. His 2021 Biletnikoff Award at Pitt and back-to-back top 10 touchdown seasons prove he's got the talent to bounce back. The Vikings front office, led by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, knew this suspension was possible and built depth for moments like this. They've got faith in Addison to learn from this and come back stronger. He's eligible to return in Week 4, and you know he'll be hungry to make plays. What's your vibe on Addison's future? Drop your thoughts below. Can he put this behind him and ball out in 2025? Let's show some love for our WR2. The fan base is split on this one, Vikings Nation. Some posts on X are backing Addison, saying he's young and will grow from this, while others are frustrated, pointing to his 2023 speeding incident as a red flag. One fan even mentioned Addison speeding to be with his dying dog last year. Context that tugs at the heartstrings but doesn't erase the mistakes. The NFL's been consistent with these penalties. 3 games is standard for a first alcohol offense, no matter how big the name. Addison's accepted responsibility, and his teammates, like Jefferson, have his back, training with him in the offseason to keep him focused. Where do you stand, Skull fans? Are you rooting for Addison to turn it around? Or are you losing patience? Hit the comments and let's get real about this Minnesota Vikings news. Coach O'Connell's got a challenge on his hands, but this is a guy who thrives under pressure. He's already shown he can scheme around injuries, like when Jefferson and Hawkinson missed time in 2023. Expect creative play calling, think quick slants to Naylor, jet sweeps for Moore, and heavy doses of Aaron Jones. The Vikings' 2024 season was a shocker, 11-2 despite losing McCarthy early. O'Connell's ability to adapt is why we trust him to navigate this suspension. He'll likely lean on next man up, guys like Felton and Jackson to keep the offense unpredictable. What's your favorite O'Connell play call? Drop it in the comments and let's talk about how our coach keeps us in the fight. Skol Vikings. As we head toward the season, the Vikings are still a contender in the NFC North. This suspension stings, but our depth and coaching give us a shot to weather the storm. The Bears, Falcons, and Bengals are tough, but we've got Jefferson, Hawkinson, and a run game that can grind out wins. Addison's absence might even spark a breakout from someone like Naylor or Felton, turning a setback into an opportunity. The Vikings have a brutal mid-season stretch against the Eagles, Chargers, Lions, and Ravens, so starting strong is crucial. What's your bold prediction for the first 3 weeks? Sound off below. Can we go 3-0, 2-1, or will it be a grind? Let's keep the Minnesota Vikings news energy high. Alright, Vikings Nation, it's time to wrap this up and look ahead. Jordan Addison's 3-game suspension is a gut punch, but we're built to handle it. With McCarthy slinging it, Jefferson dominating, and O'Connell scheming, we're still aiming for the playoffs and beyond. Let's rally behind our squad and show the NFL what Skol really means. What's next for our Vikings? Stay tuned for more Minnesota Vikings news as we count down to Week 1. I want to hear your game plans, hot takes, and Skol chants in the comments. Let's make some noise. If you loved this breakdown, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video with every Vikings fan you know. Ring the bell for all the latest Minnesota Vikings news, and let's keep the purple pride alive. Skol Vikings!